In a special episode of The Pour Over Today, we're explaining the debate about inflation and the economy, including where VP Harris and former President Trump stand. This is the 6th episode of our election collection, designed to help us grow in understanding and compassion on key 2024 election topics. Voters' number one issue this election is, drumroll, inflation. Unlike other issues, there is a near universal agreement on what success in this area means. Low inflation, around 2%. This means prices and wages rise slowly and predictably over time. Low inflation is closely intertwined with Uncle Sam's other economic goals: low unemployment, a rising stock market, and growing GDP, gross domestic product, is the combined value of all goods and services produced by a country. Here's where Uncle Sam stands right now. Inflation is at 2.9%. This is down significantly from its peak of 9.1% in June 2022, but still above the target of 2%. Unemployment is at 4.2%. 3% to 5% is generally considered healthy. Unemployment surged to 14.8% during the pandemic, but quickly returned to around 3.5 to 4%. GDP grew 2.5% in 2023, slightly below the long-term average of 3.15%. The stock market is at a record high, up around 25% over the last 12 months. Average is around 10%, driven by the technology sector, names like Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. While Republicans and Democrats largely agree on what economic success looks like, there's disagreement on how to accomplish it. We'll be back with what the two parties say after a quick break.
Ever get stuck wondering how to study a Bible passage? The Courage for Life Study Bibles for women and for men have 1,464 Bible studies. That's a Bible study on every page of Bible text. In the Accurate New Living Translation, these Bibles offer a pathway to transformation as you grow in your understanding of God and of your role in His story. While the Courage for Life Study Bibles for women and for men have unique aspects, they have a lot of similar content too, so they're easy to use in small groups, couples devotionals, Sunday school classes, and more. Courage for Life Study Bibles provide a discipleship pathway never before seen in a Bible. Plus, you'll get access to the Filament Bible app to dive even deeper. Just scan the page number to open a world of resources, including over 25,000 additional study notes, hundreds of videos, and a full audio Bible. Start discovering the Courage for Life Study Bible at the link in today's show notes.
Republicans generally believe that reducing regulations, government spending, and taxes will create the strongest economy. Most believe the free market and individual achievement are the primary drivers of economic prosperity, and they criticize government programs as being inefficient and stifling innovation. Republicans largely blame the high inflation in 2021 through 2022 on the government's aggressive spending during the pandemic. Democrats generally believe that providing equal economic opportunity and reliable social safety nets will create the strongest economy. Most support raising taxes on the wealthiest Americans and corporations to fund social safety nets. For example, Medicaid, housing assistance, and food stamps, believing that people do their best work when their basic needs are guaranteed. Democrats largely blame corporate greed for the high inflation in 2021 and 2022. Whether the broader economy is struggling or thriving, Christians should give generously of their time, talents, and resources to those in greater need. Seek out opportunities to give away what you have. Don't neglect to do what is good and to share, for God is pleased with such sacrifices. Hebrews 13:16. And now, candidate stances. Former President Trump supports reducing regulations and cutting taxes. While in office, he signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which lowered some individual tax rates through 2025 and reduced the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. He added relatively few new regulations and worked to roll back some existing regulations. He repeatedly called the Biden economy a disaster and promised to fix it quickly. Vice President Harris supports raising taxes on the wealthy and expanding social safety nets. As VP, she supported several large spending bills, for example, the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, to stimulate the economy, as well as efforts to crack down on tax loopholes and regulate away junk fees. As a senator, she supported tax credits for working-class people and raising public school teacher pay through estate taxes on the wealthy. That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow with the regular news.
If you're looking for exceptional stories, you're looking for the Nothing Left Unsaid podcast with former NFL player, TV personality, and #1 New York Times bestseller, Tim Green. 8 years ago, Tim was fatally diagnosed with ALS. Despite losing the use of his vocal cords, Tim is harnessing the power of AI to interview intriguing guests like Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL. While not all guests are explicitly Christian, Tim's strong Christian values guide every thoughtful and inspiring discussion. Tune in to the Nothing Left Unsaid podcast every Wednesday. Just search for Nothing Left Unsaid on your favorite podcast app.